And welcome to 3-Minute Tips from Lifesherpa. I'm Christopher Zinn.
And I'm Vince Scully.
And today we're going to look at a very basic question. Why do I need financial advice? And we're not pushing or selling financial advice. I think we're actually cautioning people about where you go for that advice, because it can be, the cost doesn't just come in fees and charges.
That's right. It's the overall approach that matters. So I've always maintained that success with money is not about making thousands of small decisions. It's about getting a handful of them, big ones, right. And it's where you live, what you drive, how you prepare for retirement, how you prepare for the unexpected.
That's insurances and things, yeah.
Yep. How you make a living and who you marry. And the first three of those are ones that most people should not do without advice. And that's because there are so many subtleties and complexities in all of those products that it's just a nonsense to suggest that by reading a book or by reading the newspaper, you could hope to glean enough information to make that decision.
So we're talking about home loans.
So home loans, insurance, retirement savings, investing. Now the internet is everywhere and you can find almost any piece of information you want by using Google. But information is no substitute for insight. And that's where a good advisor comes in.
Okay, but people get advice from their brother-in-law at barbecues. There is a trust issue. How do I find the right, how do you advise people around this?
And you're right, most people who try to make these decisions, they get their first piece of information from the internet and from Great Uncle Bob at the barbecue. Neither of those sources are without bias, and neither are necessarily up to speed on your needs and also the environment today.
So what advice can we give without being too self-interested of what people can actually do? I suppose it is to value advice that it is worth paying for, because actually following the bad advice can be incredibly costly in terms of losses.
Yeah, in fact, the cost of not taking advice gets a bit hidden. So it's very easy to say, well, look, I've saved myself $500 or $1,000 by spending half an hour on Google. But the cost of that bad decision will far outweigh any of the fees. Now, the trick though is to get advice from the right person. There is so much bad advice out there. So the first thing to look for is someone who looks after people like you. So if you're a 25-year-old first home buyer, you don't go to a mortgage broker that specializes in investment property. You don't go to a financial planner that specializes in retirement planning. You need someone who deals with millennials.
I think we've started to plant the question. We're going to need another video on more details of where you go for advice, how you find it. In fact, we need more than 3 minutes for that. But look, in the meantime, go to lifesherpa.com.au to find out more about the Lifesherpa way of thinking, because it's a little bit different from many of the others out there. But until then, bye-bye.
Goodbye from me.